What yata yisatin. Yehoji yata chokli. Tléiḳw enach soapberries. Tléiḳw, red huckleberries. Tléiḳw, bunchberries. Tléiḳw, bog cranberry. Aodasatsu.
The Tléiň, can you make it bigger? Especially the Tléiḳw. Gonna sheesh.
And then there's right next to those Aish Kahagu Hunt we Kanata Lobush Kanata.
Oh.
Sachwasku Yido Sak Tlingit Kenach.
Dauch too. Lingonberry. Tléiḳw.
These were blue.
Oh, how? We do Guksa Dauch.
And the branch was almost like a bonsai tree.
Ah.
Oh.
Little one branchers.
Well, I think Kanata is technically the blue huckleberry. And then the one with the white sort of powdery look on it is Kakatlach.
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 And then maybe is that other one the swamp blueberry?
That's what I would call it, because there it was in the swamp, and it was low bush, right next to the cranberries, right next to the Aish Kahagu.
That should be Tléiḳw.
Tléiḳw.
I'll put them in the chat.
Okay. We Aish Kahagu ka Tléiḳw.
Okay. Yeah, Chatsu. Atwatua art Tléiḳw. Kuwakan Ka Awekhutua Shi. Yeah, Hutsnu you do a sock with art clean. A kach aya atwatua art. Kuwakan Ka. Dech awe to satin. Achoni awa unkha. Kautua akoe do ika aya watua art. Hayanach ko ayasatik. Wekuakan. Ka kinde shaksatan awa we gooch. Shidzi awa uhan. Hajik. Gooch shakide watua adi. Wekuakan ka Tléiḳw. Asa shidzin kayasatik. Chakut ka which Chashuguyagi Atwatua art. Shatk aya ka atkatu yik. Khwasatin Kahwan. We Kokawahwan aya. We Utat. Konach Utat. We Gwash Kaidu Shugao. Kone Atwatu Kuch. Ya Anachi and the Ganye. Kone aya Atwatu Kuch. We Dach. Aka away Hutsnu a day.
Lousy deal. It doesn't bring justice. It doesn't bring
Yaku
accountability.
Khan got Kutu Shein.
Prescribed OxyContin thinks the Sattlers are getting off easy.
Every cent they earn from selling
Nakasaku Daxaho Acheta. Aka away. Ya Shachk Hosatin Kahwan. Aka Hosaku. Kone aya Gwash Yaneltik. Where's the cut ya on? Wududzaku Kahwan. A itch away with Shukwa aya. Takde ya Konehain. Aka away. Yeis Dachaye Kakwaha. Aya Nachlinuks Koa. We Ishkahagu. Shachtlu. Sexhaltin. Kakahwech. Atwatua art owa. Tléiḳw Khan Hosatin. Where's the cut Kayani Koa. Husus. Where Kanata. What's a dach away? Jaye Gogenke Koa. Ye Wutin. Where Kanata. Wutlit. Wasa ach ewuk. Hast du inkachwanig? Ha! Ya wutlit aya Kanata. Ya Kasko aya nach ach at owe. At hwagut. Ka at hwacha. Ya wutlit Kanata. We shut kach aya. Ishkaha go awe utusatin se. Wash dach. Helkedin chosaku dach asa. Tléiḳw ya Katlahini. Gwash aya nach Katlahini a dach. Gwash Tléiḳw gwash ishkaha go aya nach Katlahini at. Which a gut Tléiḳw enach mili hechwasaku. Joya atuye ti we Tléiḳw Tléiḳw. Hechwasaku wasa. Gwash weta dach aya. Ye awa ach ewuk at. Ya ach tuwasagu ach yetki in. Gwashwe Sunday ach shui. Atwatua art. Aka we tsikshaltin gachtu in. Ka kishkahagu. Ka kachwech. Kachwech ka konach ach eyake. Ya ach tuwasagu ye khadcha ach shat. Utu qut aya akash the katwik. Tuhini we guka akade kwati. One kanins we jinjagiwa tesh now atuye teaches you do a sako at wuch in ayakachwaha wuch goed wuch kachwahin aka ach eyak wash ich goed chayek ginki yanik it with the she ya kachwech wutusakud such ak kanigwat to us go out yechin we kahak kahwech team. Hechwasagu ade wududi.éeyi. Chwasatin koneote chashakshani has ausa ka adatu has outla atkin. Eo achtu ye dat we Yeis at Chai. How shachet yakhutan. Ya naedi ka atrishi ka tsakawash awe hajiwu. Ya kuwakan achtuwasakuko just do in kachwanik. Achete de shechoni. At ya wune ejich to khatinuch. Akwatesh achantu agut. Wash de twasakuko Tlitsi awe achjike ti atlun. Aka awe Tléiḳw inach guk earnit sunny boy. Gwallie has yawaka ye chat yawsaka. Yaw achtu as gukko ayachwadlaki. Aka we adatki hasu yes qiyaw dahai to Tléiḳw. Hatu wasaku has ausaku adat. Has away gach to jock. John away at Yawne has to jich to teenuch. Yaku Khan. Kachadasa awaku. Ya a jacki at awa. Yewe adati tuchtatan. Ya yidat. Wasayi to uch, Johan. Oh, can chish. I kach. Isiku get dakasa we katlahini a kishkahaku gwashtach. Tutlahini at.
Did you say ye yasikage kahak ka what's the other one? The cranberry, high bush cranberry.
Oh,
Together. Wuchin
kachwech.
Ichage.
Huaha kanigwat. Tlechwasaku ko a day would do the ya hwasatin we Tléiḳw wasadu sagan. Shangu kedi shawat awe du chuch atakawat ak. Ray Helen Watkins awe ye awe du sai. Ya hach ace awe ausa I Tléiḍw we kanigwat kachwech kakahakutin. Hechwasaku dasatsu aka aya ausa I. Dia ach ish has du ani kach akudatas a Tléiḳw. Akudak yudusa has du chenach. Ya nutak ye chatwutien. Aka awe chwasatin. Ya Tléiḳw we hit a ye kaya wutua art. Klashas de to ashku ha in you has outla atkin. Hatuwasaku shkatnik aya kautusha heat. Has du ani dat. Wasa kone aya ken chu aya dakya na dane just the cutway na dayihin. Ha in hasakawanik chak oe hinak yachyati. Chiltzi dane akanach aya anakuti. Yidetcha hin klein. Yewe kwash achwe Tlingit ani yana dane. Aka awish kashni katuwasaku kautushahidi. Has chachwawus yituagesiku ha inu chiyatani. Atlein just yuchten has du yuchatangi has ausakun konach we yende shani has ta Tléiḳw tua ashko with Tléiḳw akwa it was a oti ha hiti hi gudi ye awe to hiti tua art Shukwaya Tléiḳw tua ashko ha inu has khawsha atkin Tléiḳw we ka ku ik ha ide Tléiḳw ide yuk akwatan Tléiḳw Tléiḳw achidach ya achtlako aguk kanawus Jayku gink yechwa jien khan dutu yewuti Skachwa akko atusha antin yuchewatan yuchakwatani Heshwasa yake gunilchish koyan Aqa away Qone ha in yuchewatan with khan tu yeti ka Yisitina gewa koya da high fast runner Khatra khwasatin konach ke koya da high Ye awe has to us a guish katni kasaka shahi dear Tléiḳw has to anika ye utien Tléiḳw inach just the cut koya da high tin Inuit yuchatangi ayat yuchten khasaku yupik Akwa khwasaku dasa dat you has ausla atkin Dachte hin away Tléiḳw yuchatangi has ausla yechen wa koya da high We do ach to us a good do in your achtatani. Ach to us a go at what to shuko a kakwash a kone achin yuk akwatan. At your way do inkachwanik, yisatin again. We magnificent seven, you do a sago at Rekoya the high, Yisa, Tléiḳw agu the high, Yeis at away. We played nach we actor. At Kudenuku ka Tlingit sati. Yeah, we were clear the high ko agwash a katratse wok ak dasa we sati. That's dat nach sa kai wa gwash a katratse wok ak. Yeah, we has to yuk atangi aya yuk ewatan. Dachte hi ko Tlingit inach.
Red jacket.
Yeah, ka Tlingit inach. Red jacket, you had to sock. Was sock show? Tlingit the geho ach, we out the high. Klein. I eat Tléiḳw at high. Do jit, would do the in. Skik a kach. Kotne our ha, a ka away. Do ya dachaway our hitch. Ya or sheet away. A ka away. We subtitles away away coat did you hit Kate at high yachaway at ha. Eka ko ayuk ewatan. Glade shawat tuk chan. Ka away achshat kone ku ik. That's not what he said. That's not what he said. Khatqa at khashuk. We yupik ko kudnakhwe at wushuk da ka kone akhin yuk ewatani. Dark awa ataya. You has to yake at ha. Chat khishi ako at uqani chat khuhu tlakhnach ach ewuk katsa echi ka uhugu yiltechi ye awa wutuacha it khawe ha ina kawani to tla just yupik yuchatangi ausaku ya ha kaduniki ko ha it with the she aka away we ka ha ina kaunik ach klade to wasagu just do a gudoku away outlayechi yes nech ten ka sa echi ka gukha tu wasus atach ani ka shinux Tléiḳw it's kwasa ewuke Dasa tu Johan.
Tlingit, Tlíiḳw, sugar, flour, saknan flour, which in has asi, yak tlach kunach yak has si at no has si ati aga away itach away kunach yak Tléiḳw.
Okay. Wasa hasaya sakwe etcha. No. Okay, can cheese. Dasa tu. Wait, Tléiḳw kanigwat shachk atchayi. Atlum. Yew achuni. Well, chak away. Tlell dakade ayaw tuo kuch. Ataway we shishik e niku. Hajiye uti. Hachuche ti Ya isaku hashadahani klein. Tlasa awasku. Aka tlelkadin ayayeji une. Ataway we niku ayashtakadye ti. Ataway we ginjichuan ku ya klek. Each to a tan hakahati. Wasa achtuasaku ko atakte utu kuchu. Ake hawutien, Tléiḳw takshu achichen. Ya ach kudzati gi awa yawachich. Ya achuni uyansikchia achjit awati we tawe shady. Kakwa akawe akachawe akachwa chako. Helkadein chosaku kachtzin yisaku awa adat yejiduneye wa ashedi. Acho ajanmu, acho atawe, chakawe, re shall klein wudulyechen. Yewe chosaku. Just yata chosaku adat. What has you towasaku chayeku ginki aw? Tléiḳw. Ye waka. Yata ina geyecha wasa yege awa eke. Aka atas wushuka da. Wash wudus uk shukwa. Aka awe adat. Adat awe wudu wakashake. Kletatin. Echosakukwa. Shukwa ekakwa ako. Iska. Kusa like Achtuasaku is a teeny ata. Yinde Yadu Yeis. Yadu Tléiḳw. Yata. Tléiḳw. Tléiḳw. I haven't made it yet. No.
Tléiḳw.
Yeah, away. Tléiḳw. Achu gwell isatina ga. Achu we yak. Tléiḳw yachyatii. Tell hatuasagu achis ayakutzati. Hayagu shakatayik. Gwell Tléiḳw inach riverboat koa. Yachyatii attack. Cleinate shallyak yuduasago at. Hushnaku ish ach ina kawadnik. Gwell Tléiḳw inach to gilnet boat yuduasago at.
Duk yauk.
Cleinate shallyak.
Oh, Senate yauk.
That's what I was trying to do, but that's why I made it like.
Yake. Kachwa akwe ach kahisi tuyeti we story dice ach jiwu tesh yachwat lach ko ach tuasagu yisitini wal kasi Yeis galtnik gartu Tléiḳw. Gwell iti sandich ach kagachtu ach. Ja, dat gaat gelijk. Dus wushu kagachtu Tlaati. Chadasa dat.
Dasa story dice.
Hwasatin we hayukatangi kuti. Has awa un. Aka ya gwalli wakshi. Yat yachit tleshak kitlak. Let's you actually kick a cosine somehow. Yata yacheti aka awe an shkalni kaya Tléiḳw. We ye awe ya one qanin's dice ijiwu. Aka awe Tléiḳw yishat. Aka qone we shkakilnik an. Yata yach Tléiḍ nawa we tukane kudzati. Tuk kaye wuti. Aka awe chakut ku has to eat kawaha. One qalins tleshwatu saku dasa dat yu kagachtu Tlaati atrawe. Yata gwash kagachtu aq. We kahisi kach tleshwati atrawe. Ich echtin adewu chut. We Tléiḳw shkashnik kukusani.
Hadi kawe.
Waita. Gash qonate hechasaku dasawe. Yeah, chadasa hatu chadasa hatuasaku wishkalnik. Just wujin gartu Tléiḳw sagutin. Just sagutin. Wash just yata yach shukoyata akaweta hechasaku dasoy yata ko akaweta yata.
What's the way? That okay.
Yata ke? Wasaku ush hechasaka. Chadasa hatuasaku ko. Gwalli deku ahai. Ha. Tléiḳw chadasa ituasaku. Just sagutin. Yitu agasagu katua aku.
So yeah, naka yeah, shukwa.
Tléiḍ nawa we tukane kudzati we tuk kaye wuti. gwell chat y cachau cachwasahitsa. Ie, gwell wwjin hai ti co Tléiḳw gwasahit.
Tléiḳw wasa kadua kaya crib.
Tuk, cradle board ka.
Tléiḳw hell tukanei aweuti tuk ka just iti.
Oh, okay. Ja, kachshahit ja achai, gwell edcha kakgishahit ai.
Kakshahit.
Gan sheesh. Huh. Yeah,
Grandma. Yeah. He's ready.
asagu ka Tléiḳw. Ishtkane at ukas. Ye uti. Just cause iti away ye uti. Okay. Gan sheesh. Adisa kakwa ak. We naski ak. Shkashnik. Just sagutin. It was a kakwati. Gwashta kat ye de aya. Shkagachtilniki.
Toshka autocorrect.
Oh, an qanin slidzi. Wasaku wasa yitlaq. Yatain. Gwal akakakwashi. Oh, yachwadlaq. Makage. Yeah, system preferences. Keyboard. Gwal text. Yeka krisatin. Correct spelling automatically. Itua ushka.
Was the team gonna cheesh?
Washyak gitlach on. Chatsu, one kanins kaushachit Tlingit chinach. Ja, ach, computer ye uji. Ha! Iya nach aya ya kuchtzage.
Like
We connect ko this at it was like oita. Just like a sentence kakisha yechata. Tléiḍ na kautua aq wishkalnik Tléiḳw. Kautu shahid aqal the cutway sentence. Gwashwe gushuk gushuk sentence ay qai. Yeah, you did quite just Tléiḳw. Chadasada. Chadat yakhsa ituati.
Skahadi Tlingit Kesani
That's what
Tunganei shot Seuss well.
Oh. Okay.
Spookish Kashnik.
Good day, sir. Wait, chat. Okay, so you naka. Ishkahadika. Tukane awashan. Wasa ye ka. Wasat ka kwane. Hurtiga.
Like,
Echwa ach chaltekatatawe awakakachzin. Wash. Wishkahadika. We took a knee awashan. Okay.
Ka Donna shot again. In the middle.
Oh, just Tléiḳw. Just yata. Tléiḳ dice Tléiḳ sentence. Tléiḳ the cut that just Tléiḳw. What wishkahadika we took a knee our shot. Okay.
Skahadi Ka Tunganei Ka.
Oh, how?
Duhusiti.
Okay, how?
Huaha Duhus.
Oh, duhus. Wishkahadika. We took a knee. Cruz. Awacha. Ha?
oh,
Jeez. Yata, disa tituasaku, waita, hekwasaku dasa wait, adasa ituasaku yekakoti.
The kian kawu ha eat idishi kwan.
Hey. Yata kawasat kakwane. Atisa tel kawa ak.
gwell hyllyd dwsa hyllyd dwsa awscw gwdeisa awgyd iash gachedi ka.
We shkahati khaga. Yeyi ka kesh asa awsku. Gwashiata ko kesh wudusku. Jayago ginki chakuti ede. Kesh wudusku. Tléiḳw nobody knows. Kesh asa awsku. Tléiḳw they don't know anybody. Okay.
That's also wuduska. Yaksha.
Nobody knows anybody.
That's also
Tléiḳw wudusku. Tléiḳw wudusku wudisa wugudi. Okay. Tléiḳw wudusku. Nobody knows me. Yeah, iti ako wasa at kakoneyak. Yeah, idat ko wait, surely inka konik wasa at nanin. Yeah, idat kosaku kadin ayakishtin. Yeah, story dice you do a sago at yahai owa wutusatin. Gushuk ayahai akayeti. We tukani kakai shukwa ai. We decha kakus iti. Naski kasayeyi qunate gwashe kasayeyi or chkahati ka you utuasak. Darkun hekwasaku to cut yede we arrows. Kejin we Tléiḳw ka du jidach sus we kucheta. We Tléiḍwshu we ka du gush wudachun. We dachadushu kindeo dachun we chunate. We naskadushu tauts ati. Shanarchi at du jiwuka adachwugut. We gushuk well. Hechwasaku asadu sago at atuyeti we hin konachwit at kitayich. Akawe wuchin kautua we shkashnik wutisha yechi jasagutin. Yet ako decided to asagu shkashnik itlayechi wuchin jasagutin.
Nask Hawaii dach stitch yedu sak. Tlest ka kut no one gets left behind.
Oh yeah, away. Tlel asa naq. Ooh, hel asa naq.
His asanak.
Ak qagud. Gwalli. Hey,
Hell asa anak.
oh, gyn cheesh. Hel asa naq. Ak qagud again. Gyn cheesh. Echa.
When you buy milk, buy two.
Zuk again. Gwall Tléiḳw. Hel asa qagwati. Gwall ashubu aqwa. Yada. Skajin.
We gremlin, you do a souk. Tush. Ha tot. Again? Like tot.
Tesh.
Ha hush. After midnight.
Oh, yeah. Oh, we gremlin away.
Coffee cream?
Tléiḳw Tléiḳw. We sit gaus, tot sit gaus on it dach.
I think we're good with me.
What's the way? Many. Taki.
Midnight again?
Many.
Many? Shia dehain.
She had the Hain gremlin.
Haska kwachit. They're gonna multiply.
So. Aus atich gwelli ayatau. On the bottom.
We she awatau?
Gwelli on the very bottom, the middle.
Here.
This guy with the gwelli.
Yatayacheke? Adekachshitiya? Ayacheke?
Okay. Oops.
Hey, good cheese. Oh, yeah, away. Gracie. Grace our town. Yeah, away.
Okay.
Good cheese.
Naskatsa.
Away.
Kasaka kwan away. Kasaka kwan at chai. Away kadli kahini. Do kayak a.
Kosaka kon awa.
Sagu. Yeah, we. Kusakhan at Khai awe Katli, Kasha, Ake. Yeah, that Koa. Kusakhan. Seshuko at awe Ganashish. There were one conins, yeah, Kasagu, Ayata. Yeah, Ifoni akach, we kahis. Qatu atunach ekadutli atki at akayekat watiyata story dice you do a sago at ye awe gwash just kakiyuk akayish kashnikaya yeka kwati oh kashyach watlaq cook oh what do you do Quashuchaya that Koa, Chachtua Saguis, Tini, Kakautua, Kochaye cooking. Yeah, that's it. What ye said, Chakutigi, Quashitua Sagu, just Yuhana Yaki, Ako Hishwasaka Quati. Kosagu at the Yahweh story dice.
That well kept reminding me of that mansplaining. And so I was trying to think of say that the would you say gusawa hindach, like where does water come from?
Oh, you'd say well I think the joke, right, is like where does
Well actually.
get his water from a well actually? Yeah. But it'd be tough to pull off in Tlingit just because the joke relies on like a bit of wordplay, but that is fun. So yeah, you basically you shake these and you get new dice, and so it's kind of a fun thing to do. So like when we did this in Whitehorse, I was challenging folks to do it. So I would shake my phone and put it on the table, and then and you can poke it and then drag one of the dice over, which is nice. So you see which one gets removed. And the way that we play it is someone would start and then they would make a sentence using that first dice, pass it to their left. And we didn't write it down. And then you would have to repeat their sentence, add a new one, and create some sort of, and they're just silly, but you're trying to create a story. But you could make it whatever you wanted. Even you could just take that image and make it totally something different if you needed to. But then if you're like person number 7, then you got to say 6 sentences before you can say your own. And you have to repeat the ones that were already said. So it was kind of fun, but this was just the introductory level. And it's just for fun. But it's just something, just a new approach, just trying to sort of keep us talking and keep us thinking about stuff. And yeah, the app is called, let's not do a sock, Story Cubes. And there's a couple other, I think there's a different version that's free. This one I think is free, but then they only give you a few dice and then you can buy the sets, of course. So but it's not bad. And then they have them usually at bookstores and you get them online. I think they're about like $6 and you can have the actual dice and you can get whole sets. Like this one I think is 3 different sets of them. There's the original, actions, and enchanted. I don't know how well intergalactic would work in Tlingit, but yeah, but it's just kind of fun because then you could just sort of piece together a story. And so I saw them at the Language Nest and I thought, oh, that'd be really neat to try. And so I bought some at our bookstore before I went up to a language intensive that we did in Teslin and Carcross and Whitehorse. And then I forced people to do that. Even after like working all day, we'll go out for dinner. I was like, we're gonna play these dice games.
Goodness, cheese.
I was trying to figure out how to say, I couldn't find the Tléiḳw. or a dugout. Dugout.
Oh, the duck.
Yeah, or the Tléiḳw, like you were saying.
The
Or
Tléiḳw.
Tléiḳw.
So if we look in the dictionary, let me make that bigger.
Or no, I guess I mean a picture of one.
Oh, okay.
I've
Well,
seen one, but
it's just a gillnet boat.
yeah.
So it's a newer boat, but basically, Bill Fawcett was telling us that a flat bottom boat is called Tléiḳw. So it's a horn spoon boat, but it's a newer thing.
Oh.
Yeah. The dugouts from a cottonwood are called duck. So
Oh, okay.
it's just the name for the boat. So
I was trying to figure out what you're saying, and I was like, I lost it.
I was talking about like carving spoons out of horn, because a friend of mine gave me a sheep horn.
Yeah,
I'm
we're
trying to
supposed to
carve
do
it.
Yeah.
Talking about like, and then I just said we like people carve the mountain goat and the mountain sheep horns, and I think you know how to do it. I don't know how to do it. I haven't done it yet. I'm gonna. And then I was thinking of the Tléiḳw that just came to mind. So.
Heck yeah.
I never saw anybody use that as a spoon. It's actually a bowl. I used to see it at parties where they had it, put the food in the stew in the big spoon and eat out of it.
Yeah.
It's called a spoon, but it's not really. Wasn't meant to be. It's more like a bowl with a handle.
Yeah, and I think they would serve with it. It's sort of like a fancy thing that you want everybody to kind of see. I heard someone tease, and I can't remember exactly how he said it, but he said people used to tease each other and say, "What, your mouth's so big you got to eat with that sheep horn spoon?" Or something. So, I'll have to dig it up. We did a video on how to tease people, so I'll have to find that one. It's online. It's John Martin and Carolyn Martin. But yeah, that's a good point. It wasn't just an everyday thing. It's for special things. And I think there was Tléiḳw and Tléiḳw. What do you do? Kachtin.
Tatanka horn though.
Oh, Chas Shady.
Same though.
Okay.
I was thinking those big horn spoons though, or for bailing out a boat had to have been a yauk.
Yeah.
They got the shape on the bottom, the same like a yauk.
Huh. Okay. Yeah. Oh, wait. Shanaqid. Did you would say? Wait, Tléiḳw. Oh, okay. Tawek.
The Otski one. I can't remember it as well.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay.
Pretty Tléiḳw.
Shaqay. Kadan. Wait, that's Kadan. Oh, Kunsa.
Kind of just show us as an example of how it was like came out of the horn and then how it was turned into one.
Are you carving those?
No, these are teaching tools to work with students when they do activities on learning about Janwu in school. They learn about the horns, and so I use them as an example.
Just really, what do they say? Jitidana. You're just really rich. I thought you were just really rich. Just got horn spoons all over. I just got a drawer of horn spoons.
Tléiḳw.
Okay, sheesh. Okay, gang. You guys want to work on the future verb, or do you want to do some translation activities? What's the wishes of the gang? To the verb? Okay, off we go. Real quick, I want to show, there was a question in the chat about fun and not fun. And you may have seen this before, but Seth Cable did some work on finding these verbs that have a positive form and a negative form and then a negative antonym. And so it's pretty fun because you can have yuck-e, kesh-uk-e, and kesh-ushke. But you'll notice that the ushke switches the whole classifier. So in that case, it's the opposite. So there's good, not good, and bad. And you can have yakudzege, keshyakuske, and keshyakushke, which is, this one, there's a verb form too, which is shyakushke, which is like foolishness. So you can have smart, not smart, and then dumb or foolish. Same with this one, shechet, kesh-ushchet, kesh-ushchet. So we see a pretty common method is switching from whatever the classifier group is to the SH. So that's creating the opposite form. So you can be lucky, not lucky, and unlucky. Unique, kesh-unique, kesh-ushnik. So we have tidy, not tidy, and messy. Especially like if your house is just a mess, like that's what this one's usually kind of talking about. Kasagu, kesh-iska, and kesh-ishka. So that one you see two switches, which is the classifier and the thematic, although ka and cha are almost but not quite the same thing. And then chitzin, kesh-ushsin, kesh-ushchin. And that one's a little different because you see actually the root change. But that's probably because ushsin would be too hard to say. So usually when it just gets too awkward, it'll push a switch somewhere else. Oh, okay. Okay, so back to the future. So we had gone over, so basically some rules on how to put this stuff together. Sometimes in future verbs, you're gonna hear ye or k, like suye ik kwasatin. That ye has to be there. And ke kwake, that k has to be there. But it's totally predictable on whether it needs to be there or not and which one it should be. And it's all about the conjugation type, okay? So when we put the future together, it gets long because you have to have ga, ka. That will be there for every single one of them. And so once you add cha to that, you're usually gonna get kakwa. And if you add tu, you're gonna get gach tu. And if you add I, you're gonna get kaki or gaki. If you add ye, you're gonna get gachye. There's an unmarked third person, so that'll be akwa. Or if there's a consonant and a vowel in the classifier, then it must go from gukwa or kukwa to guchsa, guchsha, guchsha. It must be those things. So that's just one to keep in mind. I think I end up saying that oh, what was it? Ha yaguchsatak. We're going to take care of them. Like, so I said something like hastudat ha yaguchsatak. So we're going to take care of them. So it had to go yaguchsa. So you'll catch the rhythm of that one. And then for the fourth person, you're going to get gachtu. A couple of things about the vowels is this gachtu, it's going to be T-O-O if there's no vowel in the classifier. If there's a vowel in the classifier, it'll be T-U. Okay? No vowel in the classifier, long. Vowel, short. Same thing with kaki, right? Kaki or kaki. That will be two E's if there's no vowel in the classifier. Otherwise, so we can see it right over here when we get the plus D. It switches to the short version. Long, short, long, short. Akwa, guchta. Those are the variables you have to keep in mind with the future. Right? It gets long, but it's very predictable. But you do have these two things, and it all has to do with the classifier having basically a syllable. If there's a syllable in the classifier, then you have to adjust it. Okay.
No, there was something I was thinking it'd be cool if we had something to write out, like the future sentence and then the past, and instead of looking at like if we were just to write it out, maybe that might help.
Yeah.
Understand it better, because I feel like I'm getting it sometimes, and then when I'm trying to break a word down, I'm like, yeah, I don't got it. I almost had it.
Yeah, so maybe we'll do an exercise like that. So like maybe over the weekend you can write 10 future sentences. They don't have to be connected, but then that's good practice. Because as we go through this, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to look at some examples, then we're going to predict it. When it comes to predicting it, we should all try, and then and that'll also show us, sort of what types of things aren't quite sinking into the brain just yet. Okay, but yeah, it's a good point.
Yeah, I think for me it's just like how it changes.
Right.
When I'm trying to string some words together, like kind of I feel like I got it, and then when I'm looking at it, like this doesn't look like I got it right.
Okay. Yeah, and then we can take a look and see where it might need to adjust. So for all future verbs, we do a similar thing. So is there an object? There's an object. The third person is now going to have the letter A at the front. This second version has no object, so there won't be the at the front of the third person. There's this classifier is the zero group. It's going to be 0 all the way down. This one's the 0 plus D group, so it's going to be D all the way down. The other thing we look for is everything now in the future is going to be long and high. Every single stem will be long and high, unless it's invariable, which this one is. This one wants to be long and low every time. A. But this one, if we look down, it's going to be long and high. This one is G conjugation. So that means it needs to have K in front of it. Not every verb has K in front of it for the future. But if it's G conjugation, it must be there. 0 and N don't have anything. So you get Kekwat-e, Kegachtut-e, Kekrit-e, Kegachit-e, Keakwat-e, Kesakwat-e, Kegachtut-e. Then for, so that's to find something. I'm a little unclear on whether that's after searching for it. I've been told that this verb means like just to come upon something, and that a kakwashi would be finding it by looking for it. But I'm not sure. I'm getting multiple answers back on that one. So if you're working with speakers, maybe ask them what they think. Just say, if I found my keys after looking for them, would I say Tléiḳw wududi.éeyi or Tléiḳw? What do you think, Shirley? Is there a difference between those two?
Yeah, it's kakwashi. Yeah. Yeah, Tléiḳw.
Like I was looking for them and found them?
Yeah.
Okay. And then Tléiḳw wududi.éeyi is just like, I just found these keys.
You found somebody's keys.
Yeah, like I just came upon them. So I think this one is sort of like came upon. So that confirms it, right? So a kakwashi would, and so like hide and seek and stuff, that's gonna be the kakwashi verb, right? Or like I was, because it's like you're feeling around for it, is kind of literally how that one is working. Okay, chish. So sewing, this is not sewing a jacket or sewing moccasins. This is just, what'd you do? I was sewing. What are you gonna do? I'm gonna sew. This thing, that thing, whatever. Kakwataka, gachtudaka, kakidaka, gachidaka, guchdaka, husguchdaka, gachduka. Okay. Next verb. There's an object. We see there's the in there. This is an S classifier, so it's going to be sa. So that means it's sa all the way down, but the third person must be guchsa. So that we see the difference right here where it switches over to kakwas, because there's no syllable, there's no vowel in the, or no consonant and vowel. You know, I guess anyways. Then we see this one is qa. So that means there must be yay before it. So this is why when you look at a verb theme, these are the things you internalize in order to know that verb, right? Just as a second language learner, this is something burst speakers, they know how to do. They've done this. They will tell you when it needs the yay in front of it. But for you as a learner, I think it does help to know the rule behind it, right? And teen, high all the way down. This one, high all the way down. No object, so no in the third person. D plus S, that's just gonna be the letter S all the way down. That's the classifier, okay? Here we go. Yekakwasatin. Yegachtusatin. Yekakisatin. Yegachisatin. Yeaguchsatin. Yesaguchsatin. Yegachdustin. So all the non-zeros too. So if we go back one slide, all the zero classifiers must be minus D for the fourth person. So this one stays, this one goes from da to 0, because you can't do da. This one goes from sa to s, right? It goes to that plus D form. So that was to like, I'm gonna see it, you're gonna, or we're gonna see it, you're gonna see it, y'all are gonna see it, they're gonna see it, plural, they are gonna see it. It's going to be seen. This one, breaking the law. Akede kwasakit, or akede kwaskit. Akede gachtuskit. Akede kakiskit. Agede gachiskit. Agede kakoskit. Agedes kakoskit. Agede gachtuskit. The other thing is there's quite a few in the perfective. This would be gate, a gate, what's a git. But in the future, that's going to switch to gede. And there's going to be a few of those that do that. So kuch will switch to kuchte. Yun will switch to yunde for the future because it hasn't happened. So it has to get the day on it, which means it's heading that direction, even when we're talking about time.
How about help me? Wududi.éeyi.
Yes, yeah, so that one, yes. And so you would say like, I'm gonna help you. You're gonna help me, right? So yeah, that ide. And same with a lot of them that have een or eat will also switch to ide. Ide kakwanik. Or I tell my kids a lot, kashi ide kakwanik. I'm not gonna tell you, so. Thoughts, questions? Everybody okay?
Okay. It's a real simple question. Eat, een is with. What's eat?
Eats is to.
To. Like to do something?
To arrive at.
Okay.
Like for example, like eat yan uwaha. It's like hunger has come to me somehow.
Got it.
And that one's a good example because that yan can switch to other things and other things can arrive at you. A lot of people don't use them, but like eat yatawaha, like yata is sleepiness. Right, so ta is kind of built in there. And then you could say eat shukawaha, which is I suddenly need to pee, right? And so like there are other things that could be substituted there, but people don't say them too much. But yeah, so eat, it did she help, came to me, these other things. And so yeah, as far as which one it is, it just gives us a little thing to think about in terms of how does the logic work in Tlingit Tundatani, whether it's going to be een or eat.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to organize this information a bit. So I was looking in Hausane Hayukatangi in the second edition on page 290. There's a chart that has a lot of this information, but I'm not sure how it how it relates, or if it relates. It must relate.
No, it's just a random coincidence. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, okay. But I'd rather look at this than the dashboard.
Oh, sure. So, yeah, so there's the perfective. So here's the negative. So here's the future. So we're doing a walkthrough of examples and looking at pictures and talking about all the things that are there. But these tables are based on ones that Kaki Shawu made and Zeosh have made. And it's to give you like a quick lookup for these. So, for example, this shows you the basic things that need to be there. And when things are in parentheses, that means they're either optional or they're sometimes there. And so then you're going to have an object if it's there. Ga, ka have to be there. The subject, if there is one. The classifier must be -I, and the root is going to be long and high. So that's why the root has that high mark over it. And then this shows you like, is there a preverb? If there's a long dash, then no, there isn't. But otherwise, for ga conjugation, you have to have K. For qa conjugation, you have to have ye. What prefixes need to be there? Ga, and qa. They need to be there. And then, is there a conjugation prefix? No. No, it's not. And so like, for example, if you looked at one for the command form, it'll say the conjugation prefix will be there. You have to have 0 or na or ga or ka. What's the classifier? It's -I, so it has to be one of these ones. What's the stem variation? They're all long and high. And then if you go through, if you look up the classifier, this is showing you the information that we're just looking at right now. So you can look up what the prefix should be for this one, because it's very predictable. So if you want to say, and then you go down, and this says if there's some sort of, like if you want to say we're gonna succeed, then ya is on the front of it. It's a 0 classifier group. Yagach tudlaq, right? And so, but this is sort of like, if you like to look up the code, then there's the code.
Well, my thought is, if you come across a verb root, I mean, you're trying to translate something or you're trying to say something and you'll just get the root. And then you want to know how, okay, how do I put this into the future tense, especially if it's not all laid out in Carrie's magic database or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I should be able to take the information in the root or in the dictionary form of the root and somehow use this, right? To be able to say it in the future?
Yeah, well, you kind of need a bit of information. And so this is where it does get tricky. Like, so, like, let's say, let's take toast, right? So here's the information. Can anybody tell me how we're going to say, we are going to toast it?
I know the subject is to.
Yeah. And then the future for we should be gachtu. So we got to insert gachtu in between. So we identify, here's the thematic. In between the thematic will be gachtu. This is a L classifier. It should be shla. So then we should have kagach tuhlatzuk, high and long. And so this is handy to have, because sometimes it'll only show us the first person. But we should be getting good enough that once we see it, we've got it. Like, oh, I know how to, I can switch that now. At least that's what we're building up to, right? And then we're going to build up to the point where you don't even have to open the yellow one. You're just going to look, you know. And so here again, I'm going to take a bath. So this one is D. So we would write this now as like a D plus 0, but you know, it's just different ways of writing the same thing. So I should be saying, I'm gonna take a bath. And we can even get to, where is it? Oh, I guess it's not on here. Oh, here it is. I'm going to torment somebody, or you are going to torment somebody. Ishandain you kakishu. So now you are going to go torture somebody. And so, but we're seeing also, here's a 0, here's a na, but I know one of them. So here's sing. So if I see at in front of it, like, so this is the one. Are we singing a song? Or are we just singing? If we say we're going to sing later, here's the information. What's it going to be? We are going to sing.
I'm just thinking like a math problem. If we could like start with the dictionary theme, and then the next step is to, you know, if you figure out which tense you want to say it in, I mean, you tell us to put it in that tense, and then we, you know, we find the parts to put it together. How, you know, because that's what we're going to have to do by ourselves.
Yeah, yeah. And so it's really interesting, like, and some people, they get a little uneasy about the process. Like, I got to look at this and memorize all of these different things, right? But how are we going to put together, like, just looking at this, we are going to sing. And some of us may have memorized it, right? We may have it memorized.
Mhm.
But what are the pieces that we need to know? One is gachtu, is we.
To.
This is a ga verb, so it needs to have k at the front.
Huh?
K, at, gach, tu, she. That's what we should expect when we go down. You know, so this is something that you could do. It is, in addition to going through the exercises that we're doing and looking at some of the chapters, right? So like there is a future manual. So like the chapter is on our class page if you want to read about how to put the future together and look through these examples. But in addition to that, you could just go in here, look up a verb and say, can I predict what it's going to be? Like, I am going to tell about it, right? And so here it's na, there should be nothing before it. I am going to is kakwa, and that should go right in between the ka and nik. So I should expect kakwa nik.
Oh, okay.
And if I go down, then you can check your work. So then you say, oh yeah, it is kakwa nik, right? So this is one way you can start to see how it's settling in, and then we'll keep going through these examples, and then we'll go back to that same set of verbs we did for the perfective, and you're going to predict what it's going to be.
Okay, good ashish.
Yeah, and so as you, over the weekend, if you can write 10 future sentences, maybe this is a good way to do it. It's just to try it and then check your work against here. And maybe there's some verb that's not in here, right? And then you're gonna have to take a look. And so the only difficulty is if it's not documented. For a lot of them, Lear wrote down the conjugation prefix. Like, so if we look at the way Lear documented verbs, he's got that, this basically is kind of notebook looking file. And so if we go on to here, we go down, we'll see if we find a verb that has it. So he's writing a kawakas, but then over here, he's got an N in parentheses with a question mark. That means he's predicting that it's na conjugation. Okay. But some of them wouldn't have a question mark. Let's see if I can find one. So here's one, qach, crying, and it says G. That means it's ga. That's how he would note it. So then you would expect K, so keqaqach, I'm going to cry, because these verbs are so hard, right? And so, but if you find a verb that's not in Carrie's work, but it's maybe in the verb dictionary, then you look in Jeff's notes and see if he wrote down what the conjugation class is. And if not, you could look also at the verb dictionary. You could tell whether it's 0 or not, but you can't always tell whether it's ka or ka. Unless it's in a future form, then you'll be able to tell.
Because I think that would help me just to start to feel into the, instead of having to memorize a certain number of verb roots and their forms in the future, to start to feel, you know, using this tool and the predicted sort of guesses. And I'm sure I would get some stuff wrong, but it might be understandable to a native speaker, even if it's not grammatically correct.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. If it has the kakwa, then they're gonna probably figure out that you're saying I'm going to something. And if they catch the other thing, like if you said kakwashitzin, that they might be like, what? Yeah. And so that's where it's just the wrong pronoun said. So you'd say ke chatkuchlitzin, and then oh, that's what it was. Okay. So then you'll see where your missing elements might be. So maybe a fun activity, instead of story dice, we could We can make 5 bold predictions, because then those will all be future verbs, right? So maybe we'll do that someday. Someday in the future. Ausaku Johan Gunchish Klein wududi.éeyi. I guess for Monday, it'd be kind of fun to see. I know I've given you folks a whole bunch of stuff to work at, you know, but some of you are already doing other stuff in the language. So maybe bring a few things. Let's do a little show and tell on Monday. What are you working on right now? If there's anything outside of what we're doing in the class, because it'd be fun for us to see what everybody's up to. Okay.
Can I show you some spoons?
Hatu asagu tu satini.
Tlíiḳw do just
Ah.
Not that it's light, it's probably ram. No handle, just somebody stole it. Just wood.
They can't see.
This ram horn. That one's wood. You think that's wood because of the weight?
Yeah.
This might be wood carved, but used. And
You showed a basket.
yeah. Uh-oh. Looks like a crook too.
Back up a little so they can see.
You egg and cheese.
Can you get this on the bottom?
Oh, that's supposed to be on there?
Yeah. It's broken. I think that's why they gave it to me, but I use it for class.
Okay.
Your teen gaya corners. Yeah. Cook. The red corners, you go to a museum, they don't hardly show those. So I went to Smithsonian, I was telling them that the most important box that we have is the box for food with the red corners.
Okay.
They don't think those are important. Okay. Found one way under the shelf, way in the back. They like the carved ones with a lot of ornate carvings.
Oh, with the design on the front,
Yeah, like a trunk chest. But this one has a tie. My mother used to do that, and I saw her. She would just get the strands out in the bottom of the box, and she would start just tying it all the way around. And those were used, those were really important a method to make sure that the lid stays tight on some of the food that you put away, so nothing can get in there. And every winter, my dad would make new boxes, just a whole pile of them, because once they're used, you can't use them anymore for to put meat or anything in there.
Oh.
So that he used to make, and that was firewood with all the oil in it. That was good firewood. But then he would make new ones. He would just be ready and one evening just make a whole bunch of them. It was very interesting, but I never learned how to do it. I used to watch him do it. So, but I didn't learn how to.
I think I got it on there.
Yeah, okay. I don't know, can you see it? There's the bottom. Yeah, the whole box, just a whole bunch of ties. Somebody tried to study the ties by taking photographs of it, but I don't know how far they got with it.
Tléiḳw is in our class, and she knows how to tie them the old way, I guess. She sent me a whole bunch of pictures.
Yeah, that would be an interesting
And here's the cover.
task. Yeah.
I'll try and find those and send them your way. We could.
Yeah. I don't know. I used to teach kids how to tie knots for Salvation Army sunbeams, they call them. But these knots, I don't know how to do them.
Wow. I'm not very good at knots. When people show me, I feel like I'm just watching a magic trick. They just move their hands around and then they got this thing. I'm like, okay.
These are we're all the same size. It's interesting. That was, I thought that when you fit them, the black one that disappeared, they were all exactly the same size. So when they made them, they that was the size they made, and it's for a bowl. I used to see them at parties.
You know, this
Yeah.
looks like wood, but I don't think it is.
You can tell by the sound those kind of make, that little like click sound. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
they do look like wood, but
I think it's some kind of horn.
yeah, they both look like Tléiḳw, a ram's horn.
Maybe that's why they're the same size, huh? 'Cause I thought that was interesting that all three of the bowls that I had were the same size.
All sheep.
Yeah. They didn't have the fancy handle that you see in the museum because these were like for everyday use.
Wow.
Your little spoon.
Yeah. Somebody did a little one too.
Looks like it makes me think of a Japanese little for
wonton soup.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's for my miso. So miso soup.
It looks almost exactly the same as a Japanese.
This basket is green.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's amazing. I don't know who made it or why. And I think I got it because there's a little rip right on the rim. But it's very well done, very beautiful. It's very exciting for the
It's got
kids
some
to
orange on
look
it
at
too,
that.
but the
Yeah.
orange is bright.
Yeah. So I think those were the traditional colors, either green, blue, or red and orange kind of colors. I don't know how they did the colors.
All natural, huh?
Yeah. Looking at
Okay, cheesh. If you feel inspired, folks, on Monday, bring anything you're working on in Tlingit, or bring some objects that you want to talk about and show to us. If you could talk about them, Tlingit, that'd be fabulous. But that'll do it for tonight. Gonna cheesh, Johan. Wushigach Tustin. Gonna cheesh.
Cheese.
Cheesh.
Okay.
That's true. Gonna cheesh.